Hi guys, it's Kay. So today we are making this pumpkin crumb cake. It is so yummy and takes a bit of ingredients, but I think you would be super impressed by the way it turns out. So let me go ahead and take you over what you're gonna need. To make this pumpkin crumb cake, you're going to need a lot of ingredients, as you can see here. We are going to break it down into 3 steps. The first step is going to be to make the crumble, and then we're going to make the actual cake, and then the icing. I'm going to try to go over everything, make sure I don't forget anything. So for the crumble, you are going to need some flour, some butter, some brown sugar, some salt, a saucepan, and a spatula. To make the cake, you are going to need some flour, some brown sugar, some pumpkin puree, some vanilla extract, some vegetable oil, some eggs. You're going to need baking soda, baking powder, pumpkin pie spice, and salt, some sour cream, and of course a spatula to mix it together. I'm going to use my KitchenAid stand mixer here, but you can also use a hand mixer, but you're going to want a spatula as well. And then you're going to need a 8x8 pan here to put everything in. And then lastly, for the topping, you're going to need some powdered sugar and some vanilla. So let's go ahead and get started with the crumble. So first thing you want to do is go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees to get ready for the cake. Once you do that, we're going to start on the crumble. To do that, you're going to put in a small saucepan over medium heat. You're going to add in your butter, and you're just going to try to let that melt. Once it's melted, you're going to go ahead and add your brown sugar, your salt, and your vanilla. And then all you want to do is just have the brown sugar melt. Once it's well combined and melted, you're just going to go ahead and take it off of the heat and then add in your flour and combine it. It's going to be pretty crumbly like this, but that's what we're going for because we want it to be crumbly. So once you have this well mixed, you just want to make sure that you really don't see any more of the white flour left. You're going to let this cool, just set it aside, and now we're going to start working on the cake part. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and work on the batter. What I did was I prepared my baking pan with a little bit of nonstick spray. That way when we go to release the cake, it's going to be much easier. So what we're going to do now is just work on everything. So basically it's pretty easy. You're just going to add all the dry ingredients. So I have the flour, the brown sugar, the baking soda, the baking powder, the salt, and the pumpkin pie spice, and you're just going to put it all in one bowl, mix it all together. Once you have that nice and mixed, you're just going to set that aside. Now we're going to work on the wet ingredients. Very simple. All you want to do is just dump and go. So we're going to add our eggs, our pumpkin puree, our sour cream, our vegetable oil, and lastly the vanilla. And then you just want to mix this on low until everything is nice and combined. So this has been mixing for about a minute, and I'm just going to scrape down to make sure that everything got incorporated nicely. Looks like it has. So now what we're going to do is just add all of the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, and then we're going to mix that again on low for just a few seconds until it's combined. You don't want to overmix this because you don't want your cake to be tough. So just get all that in there. Start your mixer on low first so you don't have a powder shower, and then just mix this until well combined. So it's well combined here. I'm just going to scrape down the sides. It is a thick batter, so if you're wondering why it's so thick, it's okay. I'm just going to take the attachment off here, and then you're going to pour this into your prepared 8x8 pan. Once you have all your batter in your pan, you're just going to kind of smooth it down there. Then you're going to take the crumble that we made from earlier, and be careful because it is still going to be a little hot. So basically you're just going to take it and crumble it all on top. Since we were letting it cool, mine's still a little warm, but if you let it cool all the way, it is going to be kind of like cookie pieces. You're going to feel that it did kind of come together. That's okay. Just crumble the big pieces up and then just sprinkle all over the cake. Once you have all your crumble on your cake, you're going to put this into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes or so. You just want to be able to insert a toothpick into the batter and it comes out clean. Once it is done, we're going to let it cool for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make the icing for the top. Okie dokie, so the crumb cake is all finished and looks very pretty. I let it sit for about 20 minutes and it wasn't quite long enough, so I let it sit for about an additional 20 minutes, so about 40 minutes total, and it cooled down enough to be able to put the icing on top. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and make that icing. It's very simple. All you want to do is add your milk to your powdered sugar and then just give it a mix. It's going to become liquid. Once you have your icing all wet and it's nice and watery, I am just going to transfer it to a Ziploc bag. This step you don't have to do. You could always just take your spoon and drizzle it over the cake that way, but I like it to be a little bit more uniformed, so I'm just going to pour my icing into the Ziploc bag. Seal it up here. Snip off the corner, and then I am just going to drizzle the icing back and forth over the cake until I run out. Once you have your icing on your cake, you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. That way the icing can harden just a bit before you cut into it. So I'm going to let mine sit, and then once the 10 minutes has passed, I'm going to go ahead and cut some open so I can show you what it looks like inside. So there we have it, guys. Our pumpkin crumb cake is all done, nice and iced, and looks yummy. So now we're just going to cut into it, of course. What I'm going to do is just take a icing spatula here. I'm just going to run it against the edges just to make sure that it's loosened enough. This is a cake that you do want to serve out of the pan just because it has all that crumble and it needs something to hold it together. So you just want to make sure you do that. And then I have a cookie spatula here. The cookie, like when you take the cookies off of the tray. That's what I'm going to use to cut it. I find that if you just push right down into the cake, it'd make it easy. So I'm just going to do that. Make sure you go all the way to the bottom. Because it is a metal pan, you don't want to really scrape it, and that's why I thought this would be better for it. There we go. Looks so nice and yummy. But that's all I have for today, guys. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Until next time, guys. Bye.